What is up, fellow gamers? So either you're watching this because you're a complete noob to For Honor and you want to know how to actually play it, or you simply love me, and hey, welcome back. This video is all directed to the noobs actually, and I'm going to explain every single thing that you must know if you're a noob. I've already made this type of video before, but I wasn't really happy with it. I felt like it was missing some stuff and it wasn't really well organized. So now I'm doing it again. And if you are one of those noobs, they're just getting pwned by pro players like me because the matchmaking right now is kind of weird. The devs are working on it. You can see right now the whole thing. This is the whole draft of the video. You can skip to whatever part you want, but if you are indeed a noob, you should definitely watch the whole thing, unless you already know some of the parts. So that's why I have the draft with the timestamps. If you're already a For Honor player, probably don't care about this video at all. So let's get into the video. Before we move into the actual game and I teach you the stuff, I need to explain to you what each edition of the game actually means. For the Star Edition, as you can see, it is not amazing. It gives you Kensei, Raider, and Warrior, which are the three main factions vanguards, and then you can choose 3 other characters, and everyone else will cost 8,000 steel, which is 8 to 15 hours of gameplay depending on how you play, depending on the game mode. So this one is terrible. You shouldn't really buy this one because it makes you take a ton of time just to get one character. And you could actually spend that steel on customizing your characters, improving your gear, blah blah blah. It really isn't that great. The Standard Edition gives you pretty much the same thing as the Star Edition, but all the characters only cost 500 steel that came with the game originally. The DLC characters still cost 15,000 steel, but all the standard characters cost you 500 steel. You also get access to the free vanguards, the knights, the Vikings, and the samurai vanguards from the Star Edition, and all the other characters only cost 500 steel, besides the DLC characters who always cost 15,000. The Marching Fire Edition gives you access to the Marching Fire expansion. So it's the same thing as the Standard Edition, but it also gives you this expansion for 10 bucks cheaper. And as you can see right here, mostly negative because it really isn't that worth it. It gives you access to the 4 new heroes that came with it, which are the Wulin. They aren't really the best characters in the game, and I don't think they're really worth that money. It also gives you access to the Ultimate Solo and Co-op EV arcade mode. And although they say that it gives you access to arcade mode, it only means that you can play it by yourself. But if you do not have this expansion, you can also play arcade mode with a friend. If a friend of yours has the expansion, he can invite you and play arcade with you. Arcade mode basically means you play against bots. It really isn't that great, but it gives you access to some exclusive rewards like 2 effects. One right now, which is Crimson Conquest, and there's another effect coming next next season, which is a pink effect. We don't know what it is yet. It was just only on the patch notes. Now, moving into the complete edition gives you the entire game with all the DLC. So year 3 pass, year 1 hero bundle, and Marching for expansion. As you can see right here, it gives you all of them. So this one is definitely the best option right now. Now let me actually show you the year 3 pass. The year 3 pass gives you 1 new hero per season, and it also gives you an elite outfit for each one of them. It gives you 1 exclusive effect, which I have the video on my channel if you want to check it out, 30 days champion status, and 5 scavenger crates. So if you buy the complete edition, you get all of these buffs, all of these perks that come from each of the DLCs. So this one is definitely the best choice. I don't know how it will work on sale because I don't think this has been in sale yet, the complete edition. If it is on sale, definitely buy this one. It gives you everything. So now that I've already talked to you about what versions of the game you should actually buy and which ones are important and whatnot, I'm actually going to teach you how to play the game. So first of all, I need to start with the most basic thing, which is chains. So you can see that all characters have different chains. If you can see here, Shuguki and Shaman. I'm not going to show all of the heroes, but you can see that you cannot just do light or heavy whenever you feel like it. Light being the left click on the mouse and heavy being the right click on the mouse, and it changes on the controller obviously, and you can also change it on the options. And you can test these move sets in the arena. This goes by you going to training and then going into training arena, as you can see from the video, and then you can choose whatever character you want to play as and just test out the moves yourself. You can even go to the options and select specific moves you want to train of the move list if you want to actually see how it works. Now the problem that comes from you having these moves is that if you spam them, you will run out of stamina, and if you do run out of stamina, you should definitely not keep spamming attacks. This comes down to stamina management. Stamina management basically means you don't want to keep attacking, because if you keep attacking, you will run out of stamina and then you can't really keep attacking anymore. Now, if you do run out of stamina, you can still attack, but as you can see, the attacks are all much slower, and you also can't zone attack, for example. And bash moves and special moves cannot be performed. If you're out of stamina, you can only do lights or heavies. They are very easy to be parried, and I'll explain what parry is in later on. Stamina management basically means stop attacking once in a while to actually regen this green bar that you have, and then when you do have enough stamina, go back into attacking. Zone attacks, for example, that come from inputting light and heavy at the same time. In most characters, the zone attack actually takes half your stamina. In some cases it doesn't, it takes a little less, but you should definitely be careful with that and not spam zone attack, because although the zone attack is really good on some characters, if you do spam it, you'll easily run out of stamina, making you vulnerable to special punishes. These special punishes basically mean if you get guard broken or parried when out of stamina, you will fall to the ground and you will take massive damage because you will be unable to counter any move. For example, on the Gladiator, if you do run out of stamina, his toe stab will actually make you fall on the ground, guaranteeing him a heavy, and there's other special moves like this. Characters like Centurion can actually leave you out of stamina really quickly. His guard break into triple palm strike can actually leave most characters out of stamina with only 2 guard breaks. You really need to be careful when you're up against Conqueror, for example, and Gladiator. Their bashes deal stamina damage and pause the stamina regen, so you definitely want to be watching out for those. You don't only lose stamina from attacking, but also taking attacks. So, what do you do if you run out of stamina? The best option is for you to dodge back. Now, obviously, some characters may actually have some undodgeable moves, which I'll explain what they are in a bit, and they can also guard break you while you are dodging. If you are dodging, be careful, because an opponent can guard break you mid-dodge, and then you cannot counter it. I'll explain it more later on, but that's the basics. So, if you run out of stamina, try not attacking, try not parrying, and just dodge and try to avoid all the attacks and get away from your opponent. Another way you can learn how to play your character is by going into the hero tactics, which is right next to the training arena on the training section. In here you can select a specific character and then choose whatever part of the moveset you want to learn. There is a tutorial for most of their special abilities. So for example, on the Valkyrie you can learn how to do her soft feint from heavy into the shield bash into light, and also her side light finishers actually wall splat, so they actually teach you that. There is a lot of explaining in here, and also teach how to do the deflect on Valkyrie, for example. And if you do mess up the timing, or if you do mess up the input, it will tell you, and then you can get better like that. So if you want to learn a new hero, definitely go to the hero tactics. Another thing you can do in here is the apprentice and warrior trials. These are amazing because they teach you every single thing that I'm going to teach you in later on, and if you do finish them, you get a lot of steel. You get 2500 from the apprentice trials and then 1500 from your warrior trials, I believe. Do the trials, they teach you every single thing that I'm going to teach you in the video, and probably a little bit more detail and more situational. You can actually test it out yourself. So now it's time to move into types of attacks. In this game there's a ton of different types of attacks. I'm gonna go through each one of them and teach you how to counter them and how to use them. And thank you a lot, my friend Crepiti, for doing this with me, because doing this with bots would take ages. So I'm going to start with unblockables, as that is the most basic type of attack that you'll face in the game. So an unblockable means that you cannot block it, as the name suggests. As you can see in the video, if I have my stance on the same side as the unblockable happens, I cannot block it. Every single unblockable looks the same way as this one, so your character glows orange with fire, and you see that shield symbol. So the way you can avoid unblockables is by dodging. If I dodge the unblockable, I do not get hit by it if I time it correctly, and then in most situations, in most unblockables, I can then guard break the opponent. In most characters, the guard break punish is usually a heavy. That comes down to guard break punishes. I have a series of all the punishes, not completely updated because there's a lot of updates since then. You can still follow it up. If you do dodge a lot, your opponent can in fact feint it and then guard break. If you get guard broken at the end of the dodge, you can counter it, but if you get guard broken while you're doing the dodge, you cannot counter it. The other way you can actually avoid it is by parrying. So basically, you do your heavy input when the flicker flashes white. Now, your opponent can feint and then guard break you while you're doing your heavy startup. If you get guard broken in your heavy startup, you cannot counter it. In some characters, your heavy startup do not have guard break vulnerability frames. Basically, you cannot get guard broken in your heavy startup. On the Raider, for example, he will actually not get guard broken. Alright, now let's move into the next type of attack, which is hyper armor attack. And this one I'm actually showing you with Warlord. So the way hyper armor works is that if you do a heavy, a light, or a zone while your opponent has this effect, he will not be interrupted. It only works for this type of attacks and not for bashes, for example. It doesn't work with CC. If a Warlord does the heavy and I try to light it, as you can see, he cannot be interrupted. He still follows through with the whole heavy and I get hit. Although we do trade, I do not stop the heavy. The hyper armor is this white glow, by the way. The way you can stop hyper armor is by using CC moves. CC moves are basically bashes, kicks, any type of unblockable, unparryable move. You can see my Warlord's headbutt interrupts it. Now let's move into the next one, which is undodgeable. Basically, as you can see on the Warlord's full block into heavy, he has his blue glow of his animation a little bit after he does it. That means it's undodgeable. In other words, if you try to dodge it, he will actually track you. It doesn't mean that he'll hit you every time. That comes out to tracking and how far you are from him. But in most situations, you cannot dodge that attack. Like, if you're too far, the tracking won't actually let him hit you. But if you're close to an opponent and he does an undodgeable, he will track you. You cannot dodge it, you cannot roll away. Moving into the next type of attack, which is uninterruptible. And in the game, there aren't really that many uninterruptible moves. The only uninterruptible moves are attacks that come from revenge. Those are interruptible. Shinobi's backflip and Shinobi's kick, and Conqueror's uninterruptible feat. Uninterruptible attacks mean that they cannot be interrupted by bashes or by heavies or lights, or any type of attack cannot interrupt it. So if you're in revenge and you're doing an attack, you cannot be interrupted by anything. The only exception is Shinobi's range guard break. He can range guard break you with your uninterruptible properties on your heavy startups, for example. You can see that I'm trying to bash the Shinobi when he's doing his kick, but I cannot interrupt it. And also, if I try to do a light, for example, he can still kick me through it, even though I'm hitting him before he kicks me. Moving to the next type of attack in the game, and it is the Nuxia trap. This is the newest attack type added into the game. I've already made an in-depth guide to Nuxia on my channel. You can check it out. I'll probably have an annotation right now, if I remember. And basically how it works is, if you have your guard on the same side as she throws the trap, or you try to parry her heavy and she does the trap, you'll get hit by the trap. She can do this from her zone and from her heavy. For time's sake, I only showed the heavies on the video. My friend is trying to block, he's trying to parry my heavies, but I do the trap and he gets hit by it, and I'll show it from my perspective as well. So the way you can counter this is by either doing a light, an emote, or a guard break. I didn't show the lights in the video, I forgot. This mechanic takes a while for you to understand it, because as you can see, it kind of looks like an unblockable. But Nuxia doesn't have any unblockable, so it's quite easy to distinguish. The only time you cannot do a light is if you're playing with Valkyrie, Conqueror, Highlander, Warden, and soon Vortiga, because they have block properties on their lights. As you can see from the video, she's doing the trap, I guard break, she's doing the trap, I am out, I don't get hit by the trap. Moving to the next two types of attacks, which are Bleed and Pursuer. Bleeds are red attacks, as you can see from the video, that deal damage over time. So as you can see, the health bar becomes red, and that whole thing will bleed out. He will take damage over time, as you can see from the damage log as well. He won't take the whole damage instantly, and all the characters have the bleed, they can actually stack it. Moving into the last type of attack, which is Pursuer. This is the name I gave it. Basically, it's attacks that do not have a specific tracking or anything. They continuously pursue the opponent until they get close. The only two characters that have this property are Shaman and Berserker. On Berserker is his forward dash into heavy, where he'll just continuously fly until he gets to you, and on Shaman is her forward dash into heavy as well, where she'll actually sprint at you until she gets close enough to do her heavy. Only Berserker and Shaman have this, so if they do their forward dashes, they'll actually keep tracking. So there's this one attack type that I kind of forgot to talk about, which is drop attacks. Basically, if you are, for example, I'm going to show you from the zipline perspective. If you're from a zipline or you're from a ledge that you can jump from, if you do a heavy or a light while you're locked on an enemy, you can do a drop attack, and if it hits, it will one-shot them. You can also do this on minions, making it easier for you to move around the map. So if it does hit, as you can see from the clip, it will one-shot the enemy. It will deal 2000 damage, so it really will one-shot everyone. Also, if it is successful, you will not take any damage. Now for the last attack type in the game, and it's one that hasn't been introduced yet, it's going to be introduced tomorrow, which is Bork Counter, which comes with Fortiga. I'll actually show you the clip of how it works by the devs, and I'll explain it.
If someone throws an attack at you, say a regular top heavy, you give it the Bulwark Counter. And
so that's pretty much how it works. Any type of move that is thrown at you, when you do the Bulwark Counter, you will do this whole animation, and then you'll hit them with a 30 damage and blockable attack. This move is really good against, well, pretty much every single character in the game, and especially in anti-ganks, because a lot of people throw out-of-lock attacks so that you cannot parry, and this way you can actually do Bork Counter on any move that connects with you, and you basically don't take damage from out-of-lock attacks. So if, for example, a Raider throws a zone attack, which is a very big AoE, and he's not locked on you, but he actually hits you with the unblockable, then if you do Bork Counter, you'll actually not get hit by it, and you'll do this whole animation, you'll do this attack on him and punishing him for trying to unlock on you. Now the only move that actually counters this move right now, at least, is the guard break. You can use it on multiple characters, by the way. So like if the two enemies are ganking you, if they both attack you at the same time and you do Bulwark Counter, you'll actually hit both of them with the move. If you're countering a Vortiga and he's doing his Bulwark Counter, you definitely should bait him into doing Bulwark Counter and then have your other teammate hit after he's done the flip, because after he's done the flip, he cannot flip anyone else. And so you can actually get damage on him and he cannot counter it. So these are all the attack types. If you have any questions, tell me in the comments. And let's move into the next section of the video. So now let's move into customization and how does it work. The first thing is probably the most important part of customization is perks. So I'm actually going to show you how it really works via the website on the For Honor website, because here it is a little bit better explained than if I go in game. So basically there are 7 perks that you can unlock on each character. No, there's a certain variation of perks on certain characters. Heavies have different perks than assassins and vanguards. So yes, a lot of characters have the same perks as others. There isn't different perks for everyone, so it's easy for you to actually learn them. I'm not going to teach you every single perk, like what they do, because it's very well explained in the game. I'm only going to show you how to actually get them to be used. So from Reputation 0 to 1, you get common gear. From Reputation 1 to 3, you get rare gear. From Reputation 3 to 5, you get heroic gear. From Reputation 5 to 7, you get epic gear. And from Reputation 7 onwards, you get legendary gear. So in Reputation 1 with common gear, you can only get 1 perk activated. In rare gear, you can actually have 2 perks activated. In heroic gear, you also can get 2 perks. On epic gear, you can actually get 3 perks activated. And on legendary, you can also get 3 perks activated. And on this image, you can see how it actually works. So in common, you can either get the perk A, B, or C. In rare, you can get 2 of the A, B, C, D. You can choose 2 of those. In heroic, you can either get 2 of the A, B, C, D perk, or 1 of the A, B, C, D perks and the E perk. On the epic gear, you can get 3 of the A, B, C, so you can have A, B, and C perks activated, or you can have 2 of the A, B, C, D perks, or you can have 1 of the A, B, C, D perk and either E or F perk. On legendary gear, you can have 3 of the A, B, C, or D perks. You can have 3 of those on, or you can have 2 of the A, B, C, and D perk and 1 of the E, F, and G, or you can have F or G perk activated. So that's how it works. You can easily tell from this image how you can get them. Now, the only time you should actually get scavenger crates, which are unlocked in game, is when you reach reputation 8. And reputation 8 of a character, you get only legendary gear. So this is the only time you should be spending steel on crates. If you have crates lying around, you can start opening at reputation 7, because at reputation 7 you start getting legendary gear. But you can still get epic gear, so it's not like you're getting the best gear all the time. So the best option for you is to open gear when you reach reputation 8 with a character. Yeah, it takes a long time for you to actually get really good gear with a character, but as you can see, you can upgrade. You shouldn't really upgrade heroic or epic gear. You can upgrade your rare gear, so you can get 2 of these 4 perks, and then when you reach reputation 8 you can get rid of your rare gear, and then you can get free perks on your legendary gear. Now I'll actually move in the game and show you how you actually get the perks to be activated. You activate perks by upgrading your gear and getting your gear score up to 600. As soon as you get 600 gear score on a perk, which is by combining all of your pieces to sum up to 600, you will be able to get a perk activated. So as you can see here, I have Devourer perk, which is this one, Devourer perk. I have enough points, I have 615 points, which means I can have the Devourer perk activated. If I had less than 600, this perk wouldn't be activated. That's why when I put this piece, my Remedy perk loses this amount, which is 210, and so it goes below 600, and so I can't have it activated. You have to have at least 600. And as you can see, my Devourer perk now has 765 and is still activated. Having more gear scored than 600 does not make it more powerful. Either you have 600 or you don't. If you have more than 600, it doesn't matter. As long as you have 600 gear score, your perk will be activated and will always have the same effect. If you do not have 600 points, the perk will always be inactive. As you can see right here on the Remedy, if I equip this one, it will be unequipped and I can't actually have Remedy on. You can indefinitely upgrade until Refined 4, but really this is just to showcase that you spent a ton of steel. It really doesn't add anything. So refining gear basically means that when you reach maximum level, if you have legendary gear, there are these 2 dots above or 1 dot, and then you can refine it to get more gear score. It doesn't change anything, it just makes you look, you know, a little more cooler, I guess, because these dots will actually show up here if you have it all refined, but it doesn't really change anything. Moving on to feats, this comes down to arrow specifically. I'm not going to show all the feats, but basically feats work by leveling up. I don't have a single character that can get feats anymore because they're all rep 1. By the time you're level 11, you unlock your last feat. And so until level 11 on the reputation 0, you are unlocking feats. You can only equip 1 feat of each level of the feats. Each feat has their own properties which are improperly explained. There are charts and Reddit posts telling you what the feats actually do, what are their percentages, cooldowns. You need to search for them yourself, because you know they aren't really specifically in the game. Now on the same boat as repping up and of leveling up to get feats, I'm actually going to teach you how leveling up works. So until reputation 1, which is when you reach level 20 on a character, like for example here, my Kensei is level 20. As soon as I finish this level, I will become rep 22. When you have your character without any reps, the first reputation takes 22,000 experience, and every single following up reputation on that character will be 33,000 or something like that, which is a lot higher. So my recommendation is for you to do the first reputation on all heroes that you have, because every time you rep up, you get 100 steel. Every time you get a reputation of a character, you get 100 steel. It is a very, very shitty reward, but at least it is a reward. Try to rep up your characters, not only because you get rewards, as in every couple reputations you get an outfit with patterns and colors and whatnot, and also in the progression you can see that you get rewards. You can see here, view progression, you can see what rewards you'll get in the future. So what is the easiest way for you to rep up? The easiest way is for you to go Breach. The problem with Breach is that, you know, it's a very team objective mode. You really need a good team. You really need to know what you're doing. So this isn't the easiest way to rep up if you're new, but it is the best way for you to get experience because it gives you the most rewards. If you do not have a lot of timing or you don't have friends to play with, you should definitely go on Dominion. It takes a little bit less skill to be in the minion. It's mostly just, hey, capture the point. It isn't really much into the minion, so this is the second best option for you. If you do not want to play against players, the best option is to go Tribute versus AI. This is the easiest option for you to get experience and steal if you're new. Alright, now that I've talked about getting experience, let's talk about getting steal. You can get steal by doing daily and contract orders. Daily orders are these two orders that are pretty much all the same. This one, the warrior one, is always the same. Every day you can complete 2 matches and get 300 steal and 200 experience. And there's always another order which is kind of easy to do. That gives you 500 steal and 400 experience. These two always refresh every day. So that you always get the same reward every day. All you need to do is do like 2 games and you get 800 steal and 600 experience, which is pretty good. Contract orders, on the other hand, refresh every Sunday, Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And these are more difficult orders that take a little bit longer, but give you a lot more experience and a lot of steal. So these are really good ways for you to get experience and steal. I'm talking about steal mostly. Another way you can get steal is, as I've already talked to you, is going to trading and doing the apprentice and warrior trials. They give you the total of 4,000 steal. Also, by going into the story mode, you have, as you can see, observables and breakables. Breakables give you steal that you can use in the actual multiplayer, and crates that you can use in the multiplayer, or symbols that you can use to customize your profile emblem. Go on YouTube, search the breakable, every single breakable, so you can get a lot of steal and a lot of crates from them. We're almost at the end of the video. Now all I have to talk to you about is the faction war. And really the only big point of this I have to make is it's not important. Right now the only factions are Vikings, Knights, and Samurai. Every faction has their own emblem outline. So let me go here on the profile. So the Viking faction has this round outline. The Knights have a triangular outline, and the Samurai have a rectangular outline. That's how you see some people with round shields and some people with triangles. That's what that is. Every single faction has a different outline for their profile emblem. At the end of a match, you can deploy war assets. The best places for you to deploy is where you have the shield. The shield means that you have that spot, so you want to defend it. You want to put your resources so the other factions can take it. And you also have, when you are attacking, if you deploy war assets here, it will actually be very useful for you to capture this point. If you change it during the first campaign or off season, you can still get the rewards of the end of the faction war. But if you switch after the first campaign, you will not get these special rewards. And if you do switch during a campaign, you will not get the rewards of that campaign. It is not important. You shouldn't really care about the faction war. I'm a Viking since launch because their outline is a round circle, so I can have a lot of freedom in my emblem. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the whole video. This was my most ambitious video of all time. I've never put so much effort into making a tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, which you probably may have because this is a very dense game and that was a pretty dense tutorial, I tried to keep it as simple as I could. I hope I did a good job. If you have questions, tell me in the comments. If you have suggestions on videos I can make in the future, tell me in the comments. Remember that I also have other tutorials. I have the max punishes for every character in my playlist. They're not all updated because there have been changes, and next season there'll be even more changes, so I'm not going to finish that one yet. So I'm going to update that one afterwards. So thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one. Bye guys.